Well, did you guys see that video with Prince Harry and James Corden? Did y'all see that? Well, it was a big revelation to me. It opened up my eyes to a lot of things. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to break it down. But there's just a couple of things I'm just going to zone in on that I think are most important from that interview. Although there was a lot more going on with that. I'm just going to talk about some things that really hit home for me. Let's get it going. So the majority of the time, I mean, when you think about it, you have got people who are trying to just make it in the world. Like just people just trying to make it. But when you see people that have already made it, essentially, they've already got a good thing, but they're trying to sell us down. Well, that good thing just wasn't good enough. But we weren't happy. But I was just not really feeling that life. So like me now, because this is the life I want to have. This is the issue. And it's different if they just broke away from the royal family and just went and lived their life quietly. We didn't have to see them in the papers. They just lived and did exactly what it is that they said. They didn't want to be in the public. They wanted peace. They just wanted. If that were the case, then we are happy for you. Go do you. And we loving you all day long, Harry and Meghan. But the problem is that they're not being truthful. They are lying. They're saying this goodness that we had, this goodness over here with the maids and the servants and helping the queen and helping all these charities and doing all this good that we love to do, that wasn't good enough. No, didn't want to do it. Didn't want to do it. Wasn't for me. I'm getting ready to try to step it up. I'm going to step it up a notch because I want to have my life in California. And I know my peace of mind, my mental abilities to be able to live a fulfilling life is going to be living in California and not in the UK. That's what they want us to believe. Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel. I hope you are doing fabulous today, and thank you to everyone who continues to support my channel. And if you haven't already, please go right ahead and hit that subscribe button. Welcome to my channel. Let's get into it. Today I wanted to talk about the video that Prince Harry did with James Corden. Now, a lot of things going on with this video, and I think it has given me some really good insight, and I had a revelation into some issues around race just from listening to what Harry had to say.
You know, it was a really difficult environment, as I think a lot of people saw. We all know what the British press can be like. And it was destroying my mental health. I was like, this is toxic.
Yeah.
So I did what any husband and what any father would do, is like, I need to get my family out of here. But we never walked away. And
now let me ask you something. If Harry was going to marry one of the other girls that he was dating prior, and they didn't want that kind of a life, they didn't want the public scrutiny, they wanted, you know, less of the celebrity aspect that the life that they were going to get by marrying Prince Harry, then why didn't Prince Harry leave then? Why didn't he leave when he had women who didn't want that royal life? Why didn't he leave at that moment? Oh, but now he's saying he wants to leave the royal life because of his life now with Meghan? But he didn't want to do it with the other girls that wanted to marry him and that he wanted to marry as well? See, we all know that the other girls did not want to be with Harry because of the attention that they were going to be getting. So when Prince Harry tells you that he had to leave the royal family for his own mental health, it begs the question then, well, why didn't you do that when you had women that you were in love with that didn't want the royal life? Why didn't you leave then? You see, so now we see it's not really Harry wanting to leave now because he's got this real reason to want to leave the royal family. It's Meghan. it's Meghan who wants to leave. But they're going to lie to us all day long and say, or at least Harry is, I didn't want to be in the royal family because my mental health, and I had to protect my family. And, you know, and I can imagine those being real things that you would want to do. But it kind of contradicts itself. The one thing that I think is so important to understand about anything that happens around race, when you are a Black person, you are going to have experiences of when someone called you the N-word. Like I can name them on my hand, like when it has happened, because it is something that impacts you where you'll never forget where you were when someone said that to you. And it hurts. It really hurts to hear someone say that to you. And a lot of times your recourse is to just grin and bear it, or not necessarily grin, but just bear it. What can you do? What can you really do? I was watching a story about Serena Williams and how when she would be playing tennis, all of the degrading and racist comments that were thrown her way while just trying to play a game of tennis. How she had to just, you know, suck it all up and keep her wits about her and just keep going and playing her game and doing what she could do. But she had to have that skin, that tough Teflon like on her, because she knew she was going to be faced with real hate. And sometimes not even hate, but people in their ignorance who may say things just out of pure ignorance that would be completely offensive. But you know that this is going to happen, and you try to, you know, weather the storm, so to speak, and just get through life and just keep it moving. Harry says some revealing things to me, and I don't know that they're really revealing, but you can see that he's making these excuses and reasons about why they needed to justify their leaving the UK to come to America, because it was just really hard for him. And he did what any man would do for his family. He had to get his wife and son out of this country because the way they were being treated was so bad. It affected his mental health. He couldn't do it any longer. So he took his family from the United Kingdom and brought them to the United States. Now, last I heard or seen and recall anything happening around a lot of issues with race is in America. You get a lot of issues in America around racism. I wouldn't necessarily say, and this is like such a big problem, that watch out, every day someone's going to call you the N-word. Be ready. Like, it's not like that. But I find it very surprising that Meghan and Harry, because this is all Meghan's doing, we know, not Harry's. Meghan's wanting to go back to the United States because of how they were being treated in the UK is on a false pretense. Because if Meghan actually lived as a Black woman, if these were her real experiences, she would have been able to handle what came her way in the UK. Right? It would have been like, okay, I'm used to this. And they came to the United States to be protected. Now, you tell me, how are you being protected by coming to the United States away from your royal Secret Service and your country that essentially you are like the top of the top breed in the UK because you in the royal family? So you take yourself out of that whole element and you feel like you're protecting your family now by being in the United States, away from the top breed family in which you come from, away from all of the people that have grown up with you in the press, mind you, and you feel safer now. You, Harry Windsor, said that you had to do what any man would do and bring your family out of the UK into America. And you have no ties, connections to that. But you feel like you are safer now. You have done the right thing. You have essentially protected your family from the evil villains in the UK. And Meghan had to agree to it. Because, see, as a black woman, which is what she's going to try to identify herself with to fit the narrative that they're trying to spin with everybody, she's got to play her race of being a black woman to really make it fit. So Harry's justified. But, or if she had really been going through racist issues in the UK, she is facing something that she should have been dealing with her whole life. But it sounded like to me, Harry was saying the press was so horrible to them and his wife that they had to leave. So seeing that you're leaving to protect your family, knowing that what she had gone through in the UK, you're trying to say that that was way worse than how it would be living in another big city in America? It's going to be safer? Less harm? See, they're trying to create this, we're victims in the UK. We need to be where it's safe. In America, I'm looking at him saying that he's protecting his wife and bringing her down to America because this is the place where they will be safe. Harry not realizing where he came from or who he is. See, and this is the spin of the lies and the deceit and the deception and the manipulation that they are trying to invoke on people so that they can get adulation. And they can get people to love and adore them in this new fairy tale that they're trying to live in California. Because, you know, let's keep it real. California, if anything, you're going to get harassed even more in California and treated just as worse or bad in America as you would in the UK. But see, you've taken away your protective guard in the UK that you had as a royal, and now you are without your protective guard. So how is he being more protective of his family by taking them out of their secure, you know, top breed family in the UK and bringing them into Neverland in California, where like there's no connection to your name, your royalty? None of that is in California. So Harry and Meghan are essentially trying to spin a web of manipulation to the masses because it's about them and it's not about their charity. So the other issue was, if Meghan truly has grown up as a black woman and has had to face issues of racism, she would have been able to handle anything. She didn't handle it and stay there and stick it out to show she's a leader and that she can persevere through adversity despite the negative headlines. If she were a real leader, she would have stayed in the UK knowing that this is how the world is. It's not just the UK, it's everywhere. But they want you to think that it was so bad, like Harry's mental health was so bad that they had to leave because of how they were treated. No, we can go back and forth all day long about headlines and what the press said with Kate and what they said with Meghan. The reality is everybody gets negative press. Everybody gets bad things thrown their way from the media because you are in a public spotlight. Like, you're going to get that. So you can't tell me that it was so bad that you had to leave all the things that validated you, Harry Windsor in the UK, and Meghan, who should be able to put up with issues of racism because, like, she's black, right? She should know this is how things are. She should have been tough enough to understand this is how the world is. I'm going to lead. I'm not going to run. Essentially, she ran away when the going got tough. But going back to Serena Williams, she still kept playing her game tennis. If Serena lived on the mentality of Meghan and Harry, like, she would have quit playing tennis because of how they treated her on the tennis court. They're so mean to me. I can't play. They keep calling me these bad names and I'm trying to just play tennis. I'm leaving. I'm not playing the game. And run away. Is that what you do when things get bad? Is that what you do when you're trying to set an example or to show that this is how the world is, but we have more important things to do? It's not about me. We have patronages to see to. We have the Queen to see to. We have all these things that are so much more important than us. Well, of course we're staying in the UK. And this is why it's so shocking that they even left. Because they want you to think, they want you to buy the narrative that they left for all these reasons that we're saying, that they're saying to be, to be what? Safer. To be safer in America. Really? Harry Windsor, you're safer? I don't think so. You ain't safer. You away from your family. You're out of your habitat. We know that your princedom, you as a prince, is validated in the UK. Like, we can run down the list. Like, you a fish out of water in America, but you feel like you're safer. Your family is safer now. So, not to mention the beautiful wedding you got, all the, the things that people were doing, the love that they showed them. But you're going to take a few instances on the paper or whatever happened, and you're going to run away because you're going to be safer in America. In California, no less. In Los Angeles. You didn't move to Idaho. You didn't move to Utah. You moved into one of the biggest states, one of the second populated biggest states in America. But you're going to be safer. You are protecting your family. You see, this is why speaking about this and really calling it out, you really have to understand this. Otherwise, I can see people watching this and they be like, what's she being mean to my Meghan? Why is she being mean to Prince Harry? That's not nice. You, lady with your green plant. Yeah, I had someone get mad at me because of my green plant. Okay, like, people gonna get mad. They just gonna get mad. Whatever. You know, people calling me the N-word all day long watching me. Oh, that's that N girl. So the example that the Windsors have shown us is that when things are bad, you run away. You get out of that environment to protect yourself. Oh, you protected, huh? See, they're not protected. If anything, they're less secure now. And they know this. But they have to have these shows. They've got to have a narrative that is fluffy and feels good and show the people, look, we had to run away. The UK people, the media was so mean to us. It was dangerous, and my mental health, I couldn't handle it. So what did I do? I put myself in a similar more dangerous situation, but my reality is different here. I don't feel like I'm having a mental breakdown, and the people aren't racist, and I'm definitely more safe and secure, and life is a lot more better in this situation than over in that situation. Really, Mr. Windsor? And part of it is I think Prince Harry he's lying to himself. He is telling himself this is the story, and he has to convince himself. He has to convince all the people that this is why he left, and has to be the reality, because this is what fits to make them look like they're in good light, so that it doesn't look like they're being self-serving. Because Prince Harry, what did he say? Oh, I'm not stepping away from the royal duties. I'm just stepping back. That's what he said. So in order to not look like he is abandoning his duty, he has to have this narrative fit the story for his wife and the safety of his family and his mental health. Like, these are the reasons. Because if we didn't have these reasons, we'd still be over in the UK, right? But see, we really do understand that that's not the truth. That just is not the truth. And the only way we know that that is the truth is because we have seen how this couple has behaved themselves since the very beginning of the relationship, where it's all about them. And they couldn't be all about them while in the UK, in the royal family, sixth in line to the throne, behind Kate and William. They had to, because they weren't getting what they wanted. It wasn't about them in the UK. But now that they've broken free, it is about them now. Oh yes, and we're going to help the charities too. That's the real thing that we're going to do. That's the real story. So I can see someone hearing what I'm saying, be like, girl, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. But don't be deceived by what you think is the truth, because they are spinning a story that is going to try to get people to see things their way, because it's all about them. Because we have a couple that is living a lifestyle that is so above what they need to live, that they're fitting a picture that is fueling the ego, fueling the all about who we are and our importance and who we are. Because see, when we were in the UK, we didn't get that. We didn't get the kind of beautiful home that we wanted. We didn't get the celebrity of we're the top dogs here. They didn't get that because they were connected to the monarchy, where they were like they were seen less than. So there's a lot of things happening here that most people that agree with me can see this narrative. We're not fooled by it. So I hear the lies, I hear the deceit, I hear the not being truthful, and Harry is not being truthful to himself. He is taking on the narrative from his wife, and his wife is running a game on him that he's playing willingly. If anybody has had to put up with anything that is going to make them feel unsafe and not welcome, is someone like Serena, because of how she's had to play tennis amongst all the racism and things that she's gotten thrown her way. And think about this, you guys. Where did Josephine Baker go when she felt like she wasn't being looked at as a woman who had talent? It was all about her race. Like, she wasn't treated respectfully when she lived in America. She didn't feel like they could appreciate her. So what did she do? She moved to France. So the Harry and Meghan, it just really makes me so infuriated, because this is a couple that's trying to get you to see the Disneyland picture of them as a couple and buy their narrative and watch this little puff piece with James Corden and say, you know, we are this, like us, you know, we're going to call Meghan, hey Meghan, should we buy this house? What you think? You know, like they are trying to make you feel like us. And they're starting to try to control the narrative of what people say and think about who they are. But we know the truth. We know the history behind what they have done. We've seen how they've treated their own families. We've seen how how Meghan behaved when she went to certain charities, and how she would be like there for 2 seconds and she was out of there. They're trying to keep an arm's length distance from people while at the same time saying, like us, like me. Don't get too close. Like me. Stay back. Like me. Now look, you getting too close, girl. I'm going to get rid of my social media. You better leave me alone. Like, it's like that. And then you look at what Will and Kate are doing. I was watching a video with them the other day where they were talking to some of the NHS workers, and just the how authentic they are, and how Kate's not sitting there with the big, plastered smile on her face like, oh yeah, like she's sitting there and you can tell she's really listening. She's humbled. She's really an authentic person. And this is the people that give themselves to duty, who don't put themselves first, but who put the people first. Because like the Queen said, you work for the people don't work for you. And this is a couple who we can say, we want to support you in your royalty and all the perks that you get, because you are really here for the people. They have destroyed their families. They have destroyed the relationships that they have had with their own family. But now they're going to try to sell us down the river to Disneyland to come live a fairy tale with them. Really?